Hey, horror fiends. Welcome to the Horrorfiendtv podcast on a series called The Last of Us. Now, it is me, Lexi. I got Ricky Grimes, and then JR. Now, I am actually super excited to talk about this one. For one, I am a hardcore gamer on this one. I know Ricky has played the game, and JR, interestingly, has not ever played the game. So it's nice to have a fresh eyes view on this series. So let's dive right into it. So what was everyone's first reactions to this, starting with Grimes?
My very first reaction, the cold open. I need to talk about the cold open. This was not in the video game, but I think this established the infection for the casual audience that has no idea what the story is about. And they explain it perfectly to a T. And the dialogue used by the actor here, JR, remember for Spartacus? Oh,
John
God.
Hannah.
Yeah, when I saw him, I'm like, yes. His dialogue was so good, but yet it was creepy because the other interviewer wasn't taking him seriously. The crowd wasn't taking him seriously. But towards the end, when he talks about there's no cure, no preparations, nothing, and the fact that global warming has a chance to evolve any one of these fungi, and he said a bunch of the fungi, but one of them that he mentioned was cordyceps, which is the fungi in The Last of Us. So we know what happens now. It evolved in order to infect humans, and then when the presenter asked him what happens next, and all he says is, "We lose," and then it cuts into like the crowd, and everyone's like, okay, well, let's boom. And then it cuts into the actual intro, that cold open. Awesome. That really set the tone for the show, in my opinion. That's my first reaction was that. I just blew me away.
And it's the guy from The Mummy, right?
Yeah.
I love him. As soon as I saw him, I was like, where is he from? I know him. Yeah, I'm glad he was in it. I agree. He opened it beautifully. JR, what were your first reactions to this?
Come on, John Hannah. Who doesn't like Batiatas?
Right.
I mean, once again, the gods bend me over and spread cheeks, and I'm not going to say the rest, but if you watch Spartacus, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, I agree with Rick, man. The opening sequence was really good. I mean, the fact that it was dated, I think, 1968.
Yes, 68. You're correct.
And then it fast forward ahead to 1993.
Before we jump into that,
2003.
Before we jump into that, the everything he was explaining though is real.
Oh,
this fungi exists. I don't know. A lot of people don't even realize it, that they took a real life fungus that actually infects insects and turns them into zombies. Essentially, they're puppets. Awesome stuff.
Right.
No, definitely, yeah. And it was what I liked about it too is as we get the introduction to the characters, Joel, his daughter, Tommy. You get little subtle hints of things going around the world, like Jakarta. You get first hear something about Jakarta. Oh, where's Jakarta? It doesn't matter. It's not here. Tommy kind of brushes it off, and then you get the scene where the daughter goes to the shop to fix Joel's watch, and then once again, Joel. Once again, you get another little thing.
You don't want the people in the comments saying, "Yo."
No, you want
hey, Joel. Excuse him. He hasn't played the game.
This has a ravenous fan base that's picking up by the minute.
So and then you have, like, for me, one of the scenes is whenever you have a scene where they show a window in the background, eventually something's gonna pop up, and every horror movie has that. So the minute that you see the background of the window, all of a sudden you see the cop cars go by. You see I think at one point you see a freaking SWAT team truck go behind them.
Love that.
So I mean, those are little things that you start picking up. All right, things are about to go down, and yeah, I mean, I like this. It was a slow build in the beginning where they were dropping hints where needed to be, and it wasn't thrown in your face the whole time.
So for me, you're going to hear me throughout this whole podcast how much detail I'm going to be screaming details. Even after the beginning where the three guys and right before the scenes you're talking about, can we talk about the damn opening credits? Like the way they had the virus spread into the whole Last of Us, and then you see Ellie and Joel at the end. But the detail and how they put that together was just phenomenal.
It went into
And
the United States. If you look, the whole
yes, it had the states because that's how fast it
that's
spread.
how fast, yeah.
And I just love that whole part because I was paying attention to detail, and more on detail, like the exact buildings from the game are in it, like to the T.
To the T.
Yes, to the T, from the Joel and Sarah's house to the neighbor's house to the outside neighbors around them, and then to after the truck scene, which I'll come back to that, but after the truck scene where he kind of stops at that theater and then a whole buttload of the zombies are coming out at them. So like it was exactly all that, the house burning, the part where they, kind of drive past that couple and the kid.
That's all there.
They have a kid. But, I would, I got to protect my own too. Unfortunately, I'd do the same thing. Unfortunately. God, I'll pray for you. But yeah, like it was all to the damn T. But I loved the details of, again, the buildings, when Tommy and Joel are talking in between the car after they pull Sarah out, because oh my God bless, she could have got hit seconds if they would have held seconds later. Because remember, the car flipped upside down, he pulls her out, and then bam, the police car comes in. So it's like it was exactly how the gameplay goes. I know you're not familiar, JR, with the game, but it's to the T on details. The background you have, I believe, is in the game version. Right? Am I mistaken? Was this in the show too? I think it's in both, but I think that particular picture is in the game.
All the major landmarks you see in the show is from the game. Everything.
Yeah. All the major to the very end.
Yeah, you caught the end.
You caught the very, very end?
Yes, we'll get to
Clicker screaming at the top?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I cannot wait to get into the clickers. But
absolutely.
That's next time. They didn't do it this time. Just at the very
I like
end.
that though. I like that.
Yeah, but the details from even the characters. But I loved Sarah though. I have to say she was my favorite because
so good. Actress killed it.
Yeah, she killed it, and I felt like she was definitely poised, and she was really paying attention to the gameplay version. She was really, cool, calm, collected. She knew her every move. She knew her next move, and I almost forgot it was a blonde hair, blue eyed Sarah. Like I was like, oh wait, I thought this was the Sarah. Like she really sold me. And
her whole wardrobe too is straight.
Yeah, the wardrobe.
Everyone actually, with the exception of Ellie, had a little bit of a different outfit to start, but Joel.
Right. Yes, I'm doing gameplay out. Oh my gosh, Ellie, I'm doing gameplay, Ellie.
Yeah. Badass.
Yeah, we'll get more into Sarah because that might make me cry. Ugh. But yeah, details is what I'm going to be really talking about on that because it's just to the T. I love that the story is to the T. Minor details here and there, but it doesn't bother me at all. It's not major, so to speak. But what were some of your favorite moments, Ricky?
My favorite moments, aside from the cold open, I love you mentioned it, you guys, both of you, the dread incoming just by sirens and news reports, or even when she goes to fix her dad's watch, she gets rushed out of there and out of the store because the store clerk's like, no, we're closing now. And Sarah's picking up on it, that there's something wrong. She keeps seeing like the helicopters and jets, sirens, and especially when that transformer blew up at night, you got that big explosion. You see it all formulating in the background. And then, of course, when the dog comes in, the dog is scared. The dog's like, no, I ain't going back to that old people house. You know what I'm saying?
That dog knows something.
I was like, please. The dog in the game, the dog was killed. I'm glad here they spared it. At least they didn't throw it. It took off. So I was happy for that. But yeah, everything from that moment on until I believe until like the 20-year time skip, everything before that, all my favorite stuff. I love writing. I love chaos. Like anything that has to do with uncivil rest. To me, it's very fascinating. And most shows always skip over this part. And here, even though it was from the game, they skipped over it again. They got to the good part, and then it does the flash forward. But I think those initial scenes were my favorite parts of the episode.
Right. JR, what were your favorite moments? I'm curious for
I
your.
like the nervousness she's doing. What's he gonna say? Man,
I know I'm nervous.
I have a bad rep or something, but for me, the scene before the crash, because they're in the car and you hear the airplanes, and they look out the window. There's the airplanes flying really low.
Yes, yeah.
Three in a row, one after another,
Yes.
after another, after another. Which, not for nothing. I mean, it's a horror movie. Horror environment, there would be some predictability. Eventually, you knew one of those planes was coming down. You just didn't know when. So when it came down, it was like, oh wow, that's different, because usually when plane crashes are always in the distance, they never really are that close. And the fact that they had it that close and a piece of debris came flying, basically hit the car. I thought it killed her.
I think that was the engine, right? The engine.
Yes, yeah. I thought it killed Sarah, because all you see is all of a sudden that's it.
Chaos, utter chaos.
Yes.
Man.
And then the scene where after that, where he picks up Sarah and they're separated from Tommy, and they go down the alleyway, and there's like a buffet going on. Everybody just chomping down, but that one guy looks up, and that kind of reminded me a little bit of 28 Days Later for some reason.
With the priest?
Yes.
When the first
he just came running, like, because I'm watching him like, dude, you got your daughter, just run, man, run.
Yeah, run.
But it's for some reason everybody always got his thing.
And he's telling her, "Don't look. Look at me. Look at me." But the first thing she does is looks. She looks.
And he looked. He was like, but yeah, I mean, I always like scenes like this, especially when, even though it's coming, you just don't know how it's coming.
Yeah, good call.
And I think they did very well with that.
Yep.
Yeah. So my absolute favorite part, and the scene I was waiting for the entire time, was the truck scene. Because in the game, it's absolutely awesome. You get to control the camera, so you're looking both left, right, back. And so I love that they did exactly what we would do in the game. They were really sticking to the view of the gamer, because, us Last of Us fanatics are going to fucking yell at them. But I love that we got the view of the back seat, and the way even the dialogue in the truck was the same. And with, again, like I said before, with those people on the side of the road, unfortunately, you got to think of your own family. So, God bless, but good luck. And but it is sad, the burning house. But what really breaks my heart, and I don't want to call it my favorite scene, but it is a scene that's important, is the end of the episode where military basically finds Joel and Sarah. I keep wanting to say Ellie, but Joel and Sarah, so it's not the end of the episode, because then we flash back 20 years later, or flash forward. But at the end of the first scene, basically, where
I got you.
They're in front of the military guy, and you see blood on Sarah, so he's thinking, oh crap. But no, he's like, it's a broken ankle. We're not sick. And then boom, the whole, like, I've seen on Twitter, like, side by side to the game, to the show, and it's identical.
Yeah.
So I love that, a little few words scripted were different, because I think in the game he said, but sir, he has a child. And in the show, they didn't say that, which is fine. I was expecting that line, but it's okay. So that scene, I was in tears. I mean, how can you not? You fell in love with Sarah from the beginning. Again, with the way how poised she was, the way she did her acting. She was spot on for me. Like, I know we're not rating or anything, but if I had to rate her, she's like a 1,000. She's awesome. I fell in love with her, and I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you expected it, JR, but like, I knew it was coming. So I was already heartbroken from the very beginning. But to watch it, like, thinking of my own daughter, who looks like around the same age as Sarah, it broke my heart, and I had to hug my child after watching it.
The acting made that scene. Like, it was incredible, man. The way she was, like, in pain every time you grabbed her, and the way, oh man, then it turned over to Tommy, then it goes back, and she already had passed. Like,
yeah, she did it perfectly.
Still, she was so lifeless. Yeah, the way he's holding her. I thought it was a mannequin after a while.
Exactly gonna use that word, lifeless. That's exactly what it was. That's
because the way she was, even to the way she was breathing, like fast and hyperventilating, is the same way in the game. I don't even know her name in real life, but Sarah spot on for me.
Okay, Nico Parker, right? Something like that.
Oh yeah, Parker. Something
Yeah.
Parker.
Nico.
Yeah. But again, spot on for me. I cried my little eyes out because I knew it was coming. I think I started crying even before it happened. I was like, please, can we just skip this part?
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, that to me was part of my favorite moments. I don't want to say the word favorite, but it is an important scene that I was kind of waiting
That's
for.
the scene that turned Joel into the hardened soldier he becomes later, because he wasn't always like that. That is what turned him into that cold. He's an anti-hero. As you go along the show, Joe isn't the nicest guy. He's not like your typical hero. He is an anti-hero, but he makes decisions that are hard.
This part particularly is what turns the whole game / series around.
Yeah,
is him losing his kid. It's going to be the motivation of every choice he makes in the future.
Yeah.
So,
and it builds on his relationship with Ellie. It's very important too.
It does.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, JR. Also, the next question is Easter eggs in the game. So I know JR can't really specify Easter eggs. Maybe you noticed what we tell you. For me, the music.
Mm-hmm.
The music was spot on. Now, if you're, I've been playing the game for 10 years. Now, the last time I played the actual Last of Us was has to be 3-4 years ago. But if you're, hardcore Last of Us person and you play the MP Factions game, the online side game with The Last of Us, you know that when he's Joel, now I want to say Joel, JR.
Damn you, man.
Now, when Joel's looking at the map and trying to figure things out and try to smuggle Ellie, you can hear, when you're loading into the MP Factions game, it's the same background music while you're waiting in the lobby to get into the game.
They use a lot of the same music in the
game. A lot
in the same style. The soundscapes of the acoustic guitars and the low tempo melodies.
Yes, so even when you're loading up the Last of Us game, like when you click on it on PlayStation or whatever device you play it on, it's the same opening of music. I think even in the very beginning where I was talking about the opening credits, it was spot on, all the music. So that made my heart happy. What was your Easter eggs that you noticed, Rick?
And part 2, what's the video game? Not video game, the movie that Sarah gives Joel, that he borrows it from the neighbors. Something Vipers. Oh my god, I forgot the name of the movie.
Oh yeah, she took it off the shelf.
Yeah, so in The Last of Us 2, Ellie finds that movie, and she goes, "Oh, Joel, I'm gonna grab it because Joel loves this movie." So in this one, when Sarah finds it and gives it to Joel, and it's like, "Oh, nice call back there, man."
Yeah.
But it's little details like that.
Yes.
And if you look at Sarah's room, from the posters, everything in it, the layout, her clothing, everything is the intro to the game.
The lighting, the painted walls,
the correct lighting on it. That's why I can't wait to see how they do the clickers, because the same voice actors that they use for the game or they use for the show as well. So that's pretty cool. And Marlene, the actress who plays Marlene, is the only actress that reprised her role from the video game to the show. Same same voice actor, same look-alike. Now, Troy Baker, who plays Joel in the game, and I believe Ashley Johnson is Ellie, they have roles in the show. Not as Ellie and Joel, obviously, but they're in there. But Marlene is the only one that plays the exact same character, both in the video game and on the TV medium. So that's pretty cool.
I noticed the voice.
Yeah,
I noticed her voice. I was like, that's way similar. And her look.
And her look, it got the same look because they use they mocapped her in the game.
The other Easter egg that I noticed was the writing on the walls when lost in its darkness. That's all over the Last of Us game and on the MP Factions game. So when we're in our online with our online friends and we're in these different maps, there's certain maps where you see when it's lost in the darkness all over of the wall. There's other words that I can't even remember on the top of my head, and I play it every day. But there's other words on the walls, and I'm wondering if it's going to be Easter egged into the show further on. Did you notice any of that? And you had to have noticed when it's lost in the darkness because it was direct.
That was the name of the episode too, wasn't it?
Yeah. I believe the words were written on the wall where Ellie was being held at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look at jail. Look at jail.
He's like, I should play this game.
You know what though? I'm gonna show. When I get a chance, I want to get it for. I got a PlayStation now, so I'm gonna get the remastered version.
Yes. So
I want to relive it again before I continue watching it because I don't want. I hate missing stuff, man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, the part where Joel was pulled aside by what was it, the Fedra soldier, and they're in the alley. I forgot about that part. I forgot Joel was the smuggler. Completely forgot about that part. Yeah.
Guys selling fucking what's he what was that shit? Not volume. What was that shit?
Hydrocodone.
Look at Joel.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't smuggle humans. When he had to take Ellie.
Yeah.
So
You could imagine, like, he lost his daughter. The last thing he wants to do now is be another guardian to another kid,
Yeah. I mean, especially after being so heartbroken over his own.
Yeah.
Now, closing thoughts. What were your final thoughts after watching it? Now, I watched it twice because when I first
me too. I saw it the same night. I saw it twice.
Yeah, I saw it twice only because when I first went over the episode, I thought they kind of sped through everything. But then when I went back the second time, I didn't realize the speed the second time.
What happened was they added an additional. They made it longer because it was supposed to end the scene where it fast forwards to 20 years and Joel has to burn the kid who was infected. That was the ending, and they said we just lost Sarah and Joel just killed another kid, and we haven't really met Ellie too much yet. So it's like, nah, that's not gonna fly. So they made the episode extended. So with Joel met Ellie, and now we know she's immune, obviously. So all that stuff was established into the final shot. I think that was an excellent choice. Yeah.
What did you think of that small twist, JR? Because to you, because we know that was coming, but to you, what did you think of that small twist of her being bitten and it was 3 weeks old?
It reminded me of two other films for some reason. It reminded me of 28 Weeks Later. We had the boy who was basically immune, who carried the virus, but he didn't have the symptoms of the fast. They're not zombies. I'll say that before Rick kills me. 28 weeks later, they're not zombies, but he was infected, and he was basically, they went to take care of him, make sure that he got to where he needs to go because he carries the potential cure. And with the way the things right here, it kind of remind me a little bit of The Girl with All the Gifts, because that's like a zombie-like film, but the zombies are kind of different because there's some. Have you ever watched that film?
I haven't.
You, Rick?
Not that one.
The Girl with All the Gifts. Well, it's basically all the children who are born with the virus, but they could talk. They could.
Yeah, that's why they want to see it, because they were zombies, but they were still
But the twist of it, there's something that connects what they have to nature, to I think of a potential bacteria.
I heard it's good though.
It is very good. So it kind of reminded me of that a little bit, of a person held responsible for a child who carries potential cure. So when I see, like, all right, I know where this is going with this. If I was to have said something though, if I would have changed something, I didn't want that to be revealed in the first episode.
I agree.
And that's a little bit more down, because now you kind of just you took away the potential twist that you could have carried at least another episode or two.
Well, the thing is, I think the reason why they did that was because Joel needs a reason why. Because Joel didn't know. He didn't know she had a cure, nothing like that. But now Joel knows. Now he knows the importance of getting this girl across country, essentially, to get.
But I don't think he even realized that early on in the game.
But he was too busy beating the crap out to do that. I don't think. Like, the reaction was like, all right, we got to go because we're going to get caught, more of then I got to get her out of here.
I think he believed her, though. And I think if you really thought she was infected, Joel would have probably put her down. Joel's hard. I'm telling you. Joel's hard.
No, I think the reveal could have been the next episode for somebody like me who never played the game.
I think they did that again to hook viewers to come back.
But I agree. I think it was done too early. I don't think it was done that early in the video game. I could be wrong because it's been a little while.
Yeah, I don't recall that. the time frame.
Right. But I agree. I think her revealing that was too soon. But I can't wait into getting into it further with you guys because it's going to answer so many unanswered questions. There's a lot more twists than you think.
That's the crazy shit. People think, oh, okay, this is gonna be, it's the Mandalorian all over again. You know, we got Pedro
Right.
Pascal
People that
having
don't
to escort a
understand the
kid
story
around, but
are gonna-
it's so much more than that. Like the shit they get into.
yeah, so much more.
I gotta ask you guys something though.
Yeah.
Being that you guys played the game,
Word.
and being I read some of the things people post online, and Bella Ramsey's selection to play Ellie wasn't really good fan reaction to it from what I've read.
Mhm.
They weren't really sold on her being chosen to play the character Ellie.
Yeah, but
I mean,
did you
what
see
do
the
you guys
reason
think?
why though?
No. I mean,
They
All
said
because it doesn't look like her. But
she's unattractive. A little girl is unattractive, if you could believe that. So
yeah, I just remember her from Game of Thrones.
I didn't like the choice at first, but then I kind of, after seeing the trailer and then hearing about it, and I just didn't care anymore.
it takes some getting used to, because to me, when the game came out, she was modeled after Ellen Page. I don't care what anyone says. She was modeled after her.
Oh yeah,
when she was younger.
I wanted Ellen Page to play her so bad, but she's not a kid, so.
Well, she's Victor. Well, she's Elliot now, so she couldn't do it anyway.
Right. I've been seeing also online with everybody blasting about this that I didn't know because I'm not a GOT fan. Game of Thrones. I've never watched it. Sue me. I never watched it.
She was amazing in that show.
You should watch it.
I think Pedro Pascal and whatever her real name is, they're both in GOT, and now they're both together in this. So I think that's actually pretty cool. Yep. So I'm warming up to this new Ellie. I really wanted Ellen Page to play, but I mean,
she's got that attitude though. She's never nailed it.
There's a little twist. She never watched the episode where he got killed in Game of Thrones. She refused to watch the episode because she's gonna work with him.
She wasn't in the show during that scene too. So
and when she found out he got killed, like, I'm not watching it.
But the way he got killed.
Fucked up.
Not seen one episode.
So, real quick. So, all right. For me, going into this now, what I found really interesting is the way they handled the infection in the show. Mm-hmm. Because if you really look into the clues, it tells you exactly how the infection spread and where it came from. Now, you talk about, what is it? Jakarta? What's it called? Jakarta.
Mm-hmm.
So the news, that's the whole, the whole spread started there, according to that news report. Mm-hmm. If you look at Jakarta, Indonesia, that's known as the world's largest flour mill, right? And in the episode, if you notice, not Ellie, you got me saying that, Sarah was going to make pancakes for Joel, but she never got to make the pancakes, obviously. Mm-hmm. Now, Joel wanted a birthday cake. He was going to get it. They never got the cake either.
Yeah.
The neighbors offered them biscuits, which they were eating. He was feeding the biscuits to the old lady. They declined it. So it's in the flour. They could have got infected themselves, but they did not. In the show, it came from South America, I believe. It was an infestation of crops that somehow made it over to the United States before they cut it off. And that spread it all worldwide.
Well, when I first watched it, when I first watched it, I was like, how did this old lady even get infected?
Yeah, that's how. They didn't say it yet, though.
They did. I had to rewind and look because they said, Sarah, when they were in the truck scene, she said, the elders, I don't even remember
the elders.
Elders, said that a couple weeks ago they went to the hospital, or a couple days ago they took her to the hospital.
Yeah.
And so they think, because in the hospital's in the city, they said the infection was in the city.
Yeah.
So when she returns home, and that whole part, and I got to touch on it, the whole part where she's cracking up and her bones are cracking.
In the background?
And she's just looking for that Viper movie. And so.
Convulsing.
I was like, oh, my daughter saw it, and she's like, oh, hell no, get out. And poor Mercy was the dog's name.
Yeah.
Yeah, dogs knew what was up, but so
there are scary moments for sure.
I didn't know about the flower part, but
it's not revealed in the show yet. But if
Yeah.
you look at clues,
Mhm.
like they always avoided eating anything with flour. If you notice that.
Hmm.
And then the old guy's giving the old lady the biscuits in the wheelchair. He's feeding her, and she's the first one that's infected. And the
Right.
fact that they got Jakarta in the show, they actually made it a point to you to understand and know that. And then you look it up, that's where the largest mill is. And that's where the infection in this show started. So putting the pieces together,
Yeah.
I think
It'll be a
that's
mixture of both.
that might have it might not, but it's looking like it's going to be a mixture of something.
Well, it does make sense too, though, because Sarah's reaction during that whole scene was, you wonder if she actually ate a cookie. Because she took cookies.
Good call. Another thing, she did not take the cookies, bro.
She didn't.
Nope.
But the way she was acting, you're like,
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
You're right. That's another point.
She left it in her backpack. She took the cookies. She just didn't eat them.
She wanted
Right.
what she said.
Yeah.
I tell when she said raisins, like fuck, raisins sounds
Now,
good.
I want to kind of mention, back to the talk with the 3 men in the beginning. They talked about, some viruses being airborne. Now, I noticed, in my first initial thought, I was like, I kind of don't remember this in the game, but how did the old lady get sick? Because I didn't get to the truck scene just yet. How is she already sick? And then when they revealed the city thing, I was highly confused because I was like, well, she has no bites on her. So is it airborne? And so
that's what Rick was saying. He thinks it's probably
in the
probably in the
crops.
flower, in the
It's
crops.
in the crops. Yeah.
Hmm.
That
is a very interesting touch. I did not know. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, because it's too much, man. They put too many instances where the cake, the cookies, the biscuits, the pancakes. She made eggs instead. You know what I'm saying? So and if it was airborne, everybody would have been infected.
Yeah.
So.
To me, I thought because remember she hurt her ankle in that car accident, so I thought, oh no, the airborne's going to get into her cut or whatever.
But they switched it too. In the game, it's spores that infect you.
Spores, yes.
And they took it out. That's not because in the game they walked on with gas masks and stuff like that.
Right.
But
well, for now, hopefully.
Well, they said it. No, they said this that the accent.
Really?
Yeah, that's the only major omission from the games. They changed it to the tentacles. Have you noticed when the old lady was eating?
Yeah.
You see the little tentacles coming out of her mouth.
Really? I thought that was the lady's hair and it just ripped out.
That reminded me of was it The Strain?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I never saw it, but I seen images, and you're right. It did remind me of that. And even when the guy got up, when he was eating, remember the guy that Joel?
Yeah, the mouth changes.
His mouth was doing the same thing. But this is preliminary. Now, when you see these motherfuckers in their evolved form, I saw images.
Bloaters.
They're scary. I can't wait to get into that. We saw one guy against the wall here.
Yeah.
With the tentacles all just.
Yeah. So I don't know how I feel about that. I guess we're gonna have to watch further, but
this is it, and GR knows me. GR knows me. They want to have the actor's face on screen at all times. If they got half of the show them wearing gas masks, getting from place to place, they don't pay. They don't pay for that. You know what I'm saying? That's
even in the game, you don't wear it all the time.
Just all the time. Deeper. But when there's spores, they always put them on, all the time.
I hope they kind of put it in there.
I don't mind though. You know what? If they can make it work, I'm used to Walking Dead. They made so many changes near the end where as long as it's good, I'm okay with it. If it's bad, then that's an issue. But I got confidence in these people. They're doing a really good job.
For sure. And the way they dropped this whole episode, the first 85 minutes long, 90 minutes long,
an hour and 14 minutes.
It was absolute spot on from beginning to end. So it made me happy.
And it goes by quick. To me, it did.
It did.
I don't like long stuff, and I was like, "Damn, this episode's longer." I think because I didn't look at the time, but I was just so in it, I couldn't look away.
Yeah. So many good things. I'm happy with the first episode so far.
I'm invested. I'm all in.
Oh yeah, all in. Yeah.
You all in, GR? Are you?
Oh yeah, I want to see where it goes, man.
Yeah. I think honestly, you're gonna love this show because you like you like this type of material, man.
Yeah.
And the stuff that we know that's coming, and the twists and the turns. I'm excited for JR to see all of that.
Yeah. This reminds me when I first started watching Walking Dead, and no one did, and I'm like, oh, you have no idea what's coming.
And I love that we have a view of someone that is going blind.
That's perfect.
So
yeah, that's great.
it's awesome.
We got Lexi knows the most. I know very little because I played it 20 years ago, and GR's never played it, so that's awesome.
Right. I need to now replay it because I'm like,
I want to. No, I'm gonna play it again. I'm gonna pick it up for my system.
Yeah.
I have to.
Need to get off MP factions for a little bit. So closing thoughts. I think we touched on that, or do you still have?
That's it. I'm good. No, I got all my notes. Yep.
All right. So horror fiends, that is it for now. I cannot wait for you guys to see this. I cannot wait to tune in into the next episode. I'm so excited. Again, longtime gamer of this game, huge fan, and I'm excited to see where it goes next. Subscribe, like, share, comment. Subscribe the most, or else, I'm gonna send some clickers at your house.
I'm all set, man. Send me a pizza.
I cannot wait to get some clickers. I can't even. And one more touch. The clicker at the end screaming on top of the building.
Perfect.
You get a perfect.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I loved it. So another little Easter egg to see what's in the future. But anyways, this is Lexi, JR, and Ricky Grimes. I never know which way to go. All right. Until next time, join us for the Horror Fiend TV podcast number 2 next week.
All
Bye.
Right. Peace.